Hello everyone, welcome back to Believers CS Academy Bengaluru. This is daily news analysis. Today, that is the 2nd August 2025, we'll be discussing some important articles from mains, prelims and interview perspective. The first article for the day is from the Hindu Text and Context, which talks about why the world needs better green technologies. It talks about the importance of green technologies and need of the green technologies. Context: with climate change intensifying and net zero targets looming around, the world is facing a critical energy crossroads. Existing renewable solutions like silicon photovoltaics are widespread, but the questions about their efficiency, land usage, and scalability have prompted a call for next generation green technologies. The article is discussing not about the green technologies but also about the issues that are persisting with current green technologies. It is trying to provide a roadmap for the future. Okay, there are certain issues with respect to green technologies as well, so that should be addressed in the future. So, in the article, it talks about silicon photovoltaics, which are rampant at the current times, which are mainly used in solar power plants. However, though they are very significant, though are very green in nature, there are certain limitations, such as efficiency ceiling. The current PV panels have 15 to 21% efficiency. Superior technologies such as gallium arsenide thin films offer up to 47%. So almost increase of around 30%. Next is land usage. The low efficiency panels demand more land, which is unsustainable amid rapid urbanization and ecological preservation needs. These photovoltaic cells has to be implemented on a particular land, on a particular building, so it consumes land. When the land usage is very high, it is going to lead to certain issues, because the world is already facing land crunch because of rapid urbanization and ecological preservation needs. So we need to find an alternative to these photovoltaics which will consume lesser land. Okay, next, strategic concerns. India produces 6 gigawatt of photovoltaic cells, but approximately 80% of the global supply is dominated by China, posing geopolitical and supply chain vulnerabilities. Okay, so in line with Atmanirbhar Bharat, we cannot be dependent on China for our imports anymore. If we are dependent on China for imports like this, it is going to be very catastrophic in the future. Next is green hydrogen and its green dilemma. Green hydrogen promise. Key to decarbonizing sectors like steel, shipping, and fertilizers, but there are certain efficiency crises as well. Electrolysis powered by silicon PVs uses more energy than the hydrogen it produces. So, what is the use? If you are using more energy to produce a particular energy, then what is the use of going for such technologies? Then, the issues with storage and transport. Hydrogen is a leaky and expensive to handle, often requiring conversion to ammonia and methanol, which adds further energy loss. Excuse me. So, what will be the alternatives? What are the emerging alternatives? First is artificial photosynthesis, APS, mimics plants photosynthesis to directly convert sunlight, water, carbon dioxide into fuel. Still in lab stage, but are very promising in nature. RFNBO. What is RFNBO? Renewable fuel of non-biological origin. Europe is investing in non-biomass based fuels. India must follow suit for energy security and sovereignty as well. Next is why better technology is urgent. One is the rising carbon dioxide from 350 ppm to 425 ppm in 2025, despite 4.45 terawatts power renewable capacity installed. The renewable energy capacity is 4.45 TWh. However, the carbon dioxide has gone on increasing rather than reduced. Okay. Next is global dependence. India imports 85% of its energy needs. Clean technology self-sufficiency is very vital here. Geopolitical disruptions, conflicts, and climate disasters threaten energy supply chains. So the policy recommendations by the author are investment in research and development, public private funding in high efficiency solar, APS and RFB&BOs. Next is diversification strategy. The diversification strategy, avoiding over reliance on one technology such as silicon PV. Then life cycle audits. Here, evaluate green technologies based on full energy input output analysis. Okay, this is the issue with hydrogen. Here, the input is higher compared to the output. What is the use of an energy source where if where more energy is going into producing the energy? So it is of no use for us. It cannot be commercially viable. Next, ethical and economic lens. Prevention is better than cure. Investing 1 crore now in cleaner technology avoids future costs of climate disasters. Greenwashing concern. Without deeper innovation, current green solutions may only offer partial or illusory progress. What is greenwashing? The greenwashing is a technique which is followed by the corporates, where they claim that the product which is produced by them is produced through green technologies, or it is environment friendly. But in reality, it is not the case. So this is called as greenwashing. So in order to avoid this greenwashing, we have to do deeper innovations. Next is language and division of states. There was an article in the Indian Express. It talks about language and division of states and a historical perspective. Why it is in news? Recently, there were demeaning remarks by a MLA in Tamil Nadu. It said, governor in Tamil Nadu, that is, Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi, recently sparked controversy by stating that the linguistic reorganization of Indian states created second-class citizens and undermined national unity. Okay, which is a very derogatory remark on particular languages. Second-class citizens. That is because of linguistic organization or reorganization of states, which is a very derogatory remark. So, background to this one. India before reorganization. How was India? At independence, India had complex administrative structure with the British provinces and 565 princely states, drawn largely for administrative convenience. The 1950 constitution grouped states into part A, B, C and D, not based on the language. And then in 1956 linguistic reorganization, trigger point was that Potti Sriramulu of Andhra Pradesh, who was a lifelong protester, or a freedom fighter who focused on freedom for India and linguistic state for Telugu speaking people, that is Andhra Pradesh. Because of prolonged delay, Potti Sriramulu went on a hunger strike and he was declared dead in 1952 after a long hunger strike for a Telugu speaking state. This led to creation of Andhra Pradesh in 1953. So the central government had to wait for the death of a prominent face such as Potti Sriramulu. Next is States Reorganization Commission was formed in 1953 under Justice Fazal Ali Commission, and then States Reorganization Act was created in 1956. It created 14 states and 6 union territories, largely on the linguistic lines. Next is balanced criteria beyond language. In the Reorganization Act of 1956, there was a provision for linguistic organization or reorganization of states as well. However, it was not the only sole basis. The other criteria included that language was key but not the sole factor. The SRC and Nehru emphasized national unity, administrative efficiency and economic viability as the factors in declaring a particular state. SRC recommendations recommended bilingual states, for example Bombay, and cautioned against unilingualism. However, it didn't hold true in the later stages because Bombay was again bifurcated into Maharashtra and Gujarat based on language again. Next, unity through diversity. Fears of balkanization proved unfounded. Unlike Pakistan and Sri Lanka, where linguistic imposition led to conflict, India's linguistic pluralism helped integration. Second ARC hailed linguistic reorganization as a milestone in Indian federalism. It provided and it appreciated the aspirations of linguistic people and created their own states. As a result, it helped in integration rather than conflicts. So, in conclusion, rather than dividing the nation, linguistic reorganization enhanced democratic participation, administrative efficiency, and national cohesion, reflecting India's ethos of unity and diversity. So, the remarks by Tamil Nadu governor are in bad favor, and this should be avoided at all cost. Next is again an article from the Indian Express, which talks about Supreme Court reserves verdict on age limit in surrogacy law. Why it is in news? It is in news because Supreme Court has reserved its verdict on pleas challenging the age restrictions under the Surrogacy Regulation Act of 2021 and Assisted Reproductive Technology Act of 2021, especially where procedures had begun prior to the law's enactment. So, first we will understand the background to this. That is, surrogacy legal framework in India. Purpose is to ban commercial surrogacy and allow only altruistic surrogacy for genuine medicinal need. Only for the people who are not able to bear child. Only for them surrogacy has to be allowed. And surrogacy should be based on the altruistic principle, not a commercial principle. What happened in India was that many women, young women, they went for the surrogacy so that they can fulfill their commercial needs, so that they can get some money out of this surrogacy. So this was banned, and as a result, only altruistic surrogacy is allowed and only the medical expenses are provided. Key conditions are there is an age limit that women from 25 to 23 to 50 years can follow or can participate, and men from 26 to 55 years. Single women, only widows or divorcees aged 35 to 45 can ask for surrogacy. Requires certification of essentiality. That is, there is an essential proof to be provided that you are infertile, that you are not capable of bearing child. Only then you are able to go into a surrogacy and take a baby from other mother. Ensures surrogate health insurance and child safety. Here, the petitioners were arguing that couples midway through fertility procedures were retrospectively disqualified. Case in point is couple that is 62 and 56 years old lost a child in 2018 were disqualified under the new wage cap despite prior embryo transfer attempts. Okay, so the act was enacted in 2021 and the age limit was capped at 50-55 for male and female and male. However, there was a couple here who had filed for embryo transfer in 2018. However, they were not successful and they applied for surrogacy again. However, they were disqualified because according to the new law, their age is above this 50 years of limit. Next, it was violation of Article 14, that is arbitrary age-based classification. What is the scientific reason behind providing these caps? Next is Article 21, infringement upon reproductive autonomy. Next is no grandfather clause for transitional protection and criticism of exclusion of unmarried single women. Okay, so the single women, only widows or divorcees aged between 35-45 are allowed. However, the single women who are unmarried are not allowed for surrogacy. Next, Supreme Court's concerns versus the government stand. The government argues that age caps ensures safety. It aligns with global standards. Older parenting may harm child's welfare. There is a argument in case here also. That is, what if the older parents who go for surrogacy die before the child reaches a certain age? Who will take care of the child? The child will become orphan. So, in order to protect the child's health and welfare, the age cap was provided. The court's observation here is, if natural pregnancies at advanced ages are allowed, why bar surrogacy? Meaning, if people can go for pregnancies at the age of 60, then why are you not allowing for the surrogacy? Law seems compassionless and harsh. Intent should be regulation of commercial surrogacy and not denying parenthood to the grieving or infertile. So this is the observation of the court. So here the constitutional and ethical dimensions are Article 14 is equality, that is challenges based on ages and marital status discrimination, and Article 24 a right to life and personal liberty. Here the right also includes reproductive rights. And the ethical dimensions are individual autonomy versus the state regulation. Next is raises concerns over lack of transitional safeguards and legislative foresight. And finally, reflects judiciary's evolving interpretation of personal liberty and familial rights. A very important article with key ethical and legal dimensions. Next is moving on to the prelim pointers. So in prelim pointers, the first article is about doctrine of merger. There was recently a Supreme Court recommendation or observation on the doctrine of merger case. That is what we are covering here. What is doctrine of merger? It is a principle followed in law. That is the common law principle that maintains judicial hierarchy and propriety. It means that when a superior court passes an order on appeal or revision, the original order by the lower court merges into it. For example, there is a district court. District court has provided a judgment or has announced a judgment or decree on a particular case. Now, the higher court, that is High Court, if High Court takes this case upon itself and gives up another judgment, may be in pursuance with this one or against this one. If this judgment doesn't matter if it is in pursuance or if it is against this particular judgment, are together merged into one. Okay, are together merged into one. This is principle or doctrine of merger. Result, only the appellate court's order stands enforceable. In reality, the judgment of the lower court is squashed there. Key features add that it is not statutory but a doctrine of judicial discipline and propriety. Prevents multiplicity of orders on the same matter. Applies to judicial, quasi-judicial and administrative authorities. When does it apply? When a subordinate authority's decision is appealed or revised, a superior authority affirms, modifies or reverses that decision. Consequence, only the superior authority's order remains operative and the lower court's order ceases to exist independently. This is simple. Limitations is that it is not a universal doctrine and also depends on the nature of jurisdiction, whether it is statutory or discretionary, and the scope of appeal or revision, whether this case can be appealed or not, and then the subject matter under challenge. It depends on the various cases. Supreme Court in 2025, the recent case reiterated that it must not be used mechanically to deny any genuine legal remedies. Okay, it is present, but it should not be used just mechanically. Next is grant in aid to National Cooperative Development Corporation Scheme. It was launched by Union Cabinet in 2025. Type Central Sector Scheme, financial year 25-26 to 28-29, and the total outlay is of 2,000 crore. Objectives is to strengthen cooperative-based economic development, provide financial assistance for setting up or expanding cooperative projects, it to help cooperatives meet the working capital requirements and improve productivity. The implementation strategy, the executing agency here is NCDC, that is National Cooperative Development Corporation. It will raise 20,000 crore from the open market using the 2,000 crore the Government of India grant. Loans will be provided directly to the cooperatives that meet certain criteria and via against state governments under NCDC guidelines. Areas supported are technology upgradation, modernization, expansion and working capital. So it is in line with Article 43A or Article 43B, which promotes cooperatives. Okay, which promotes democratic organization and functioning of cooperatives. Next is beneficiaries. Around 9 crore members of 13,288 cooperatives across India. Sectors: dairy, livestock, fisheries, textile, sugar, food processing, storage, women-led and labor cooperatives. So wide range of cooperatives are covered here. And the final article is UN Women. The UN Women recently celebrated its 15th anniversary, so that is why it is in news. What is UN Women? It is nothing but UN Equity for Gender Equality. UN Entity for Gender Equality and Empowerment of Women. Established in July 2010 by United Nations General Assembly. Headquarters at New York. Parent body is United Nations Economic and Social Council, that is ECOSOC. Key mandates: support intergovernmental bodies, especially the Commission on the Status of Women in setting global standards and norms. Next is technical and financial assistance. helps member states implement gender equality frameworks, works in partnership with the civil society and governments, coordination within UN system, leads UN efforts on gender equality and monitors system-wide progress. And the core areas of work are women's political participation, economic empowerment, and ending violence against women, gender responsive planning and budgeting, advocating for sustainable development goal 5, that is gender equality. So it covers various aspects of women related issues. So grant making funds, that is there are certain funds, sorry, not funds, certain funds which are provided under this one, that is fund for gender equality, UN trust fund to end violence against women, which provides certain grants. So these funds innovate high impact programs by NGOs and government bodies. Next is Commission on the Status of Women. It is a functional commission of ECOSOC, global policy making body for gender equality, hosts annual sessions to review progress on the committees or commitments like Beijing Platform for Action. So Beijing Platform for Action deals with women related issues, especially violence on women. Next is data work. It maintains UN Secretary General's global database on violence against women, tracks country-wise measures to combat gender-based violence. So these are the important articles which I wanted to discuss with you. If you like the video, then please hit the like button, comment on it, and also share with your friends. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon so that you don't miss any notification. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind.